Hello and welcome once again to Steve Longstay Workshop, and tonight on the bench here to be looked at we've got something a bit special. This is a Garrard TR1 tape recorder, Murphy TR1 tape recorder. Not just tape recorder, this is a British forerunner of the compact cassette in a way, because this one actually has a cartridge with it as well. I believe these do actually also take ordinary tapes. We'll see about that. But if not, I'll get some more. I'll get some ordinary tapes and put them in this, which is the cartridge. Yeah, which does basically have in it real tape. So I will put a real tape in that at some point and get it to work. Switching it on very quickly. You go any further? I know we shouldn't, but I always do. Yeah, I noticed, by the way, it seems to have a new cable, so that doesn't put me on a guide any more than usual, but it suggests to me that this has been played with by somebody in the past. So again, we don't know for sure on that one. Wind, that works. Play. Back up the volume control. And record. Now, because the magic eye here is lit, it's looks like an EM. Is it 8.7, the one that they go over, or 8? I don't know which. I'll find out at some stage. That tells us that the HT and the LT are both there. So the power supply is working. The motor's working. You can hear it. On these decks, quite often the DC motor in them does fail, so that's a good thing. So that's what we're up to. These two come off like that. The capstan is okay. That's not too bad. That's working okay. Like so. And there, yeah. This is the head block here. And it goes down there, so that's the head block. Which is the play. I don't hear anything for that actually, so okay. I'll just no, nothing. Now the fact that I can't get anything from behind the head block here suggests it's not the head, because if the head was faulty, touching behind here, it would still operate. So I'll look into that as well. Always with anything like this, first thing you do is have a look, have a play, and see what it can and can't do. In this case, it doesn't seem to want to work, but that's the way we like them here. So there we are. It's mechanically it sounds, that's the picture is rather good actually. So we'll see what happens. By the way, this particular deck, this system, it died out. It came in 1960 and it died out pretty quickly. Why, I don't know, but we'll see at some point, I am sure. The microphone is here, by the way, standard Aircraft mic, but with Murphy written on the front of it. Goes into radio, and that doesn't do anything either, does it? Try and record. 1, 2, 3. I can't. It might be the mic. It might be the system. We don't know. Going into microphone like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, there's nothing there. So either the mic is faulty or the system, the electronics inside are faulty. Again, I don't know which. So at this point, I shall get a manual and I'll be back to you very, very soon. Right, well, I found a tape for this machine. Small tape, but obviously a tape. And It only winds forwards, like that. The brakes need to be looked at, and there is something on this tape, but very, very quiet. Very, very quiet. I don't know what this is. So the head's doing something as well. So the deck seems to be okay. Don't know for sure that one, but it does seem to be. So with that in mind, we've got the problem, the deck. Once we've got that sorted, I'll then try and put these in this machine here, in this here cartridge thing, and then it'll be a working machine again. These are very rare, by the way. Now I got this one cheap. I think you can probably hear why, but like everything else, we'll get it going again. But that's what we do here. Right, on we go with it. First thing I do is wind the tape off. I think it's the only way it does it. Like, you know, very fast wind. Look at that, a very fast wind, very fast. Which suggests that most of this is in good condition. I mean, that's quite a fast wind. That if only BS out of that quick, eh? I don't know. By the way, also Garrard, no better for record players, as you know. But obviously, their one attempt in the tape recording market gave us this deck here, which I'm going to be working on now. Anyway, in we go, and we have a look and we see exactly what is and what isn't with this deck. Probably with this is only a guess here. With this, I think most of the problems will be down to electronic problems. The deck seems to be really healthy, so most of the problems will be electronic. That's just my opinion based on what I've seen so far. So we take these off with my magnetic screwdriver, which will not go anywhere near the heads, obviously. That is a no-no with magnetic head recording. You can imagine. You'll have a quick look at the units for it and look at what's right with the manual. Indeed, if the manual's right, because sometimes they're not. Things get missed off. There's a case a while back actually with a Set record player, and somebody rebuilt it exactly as for the circuit, but the circuit left off a certain capacitor, and so when the record player was switched on, it played, but it was as distorted can be. It was awful. And putting the cap back in, I went for 0.1 because that seemed to be the default value with these things, and it then worked fine. So sometimes manuals are not 100% right. That one actually was I spotted it because I work quite a lot with sets from abroad, Germany, Poland, that sort of thing as well. And sometimes with those sort of sets, particularly in the early days before the internet, the various bits and pieces in it, they were not there, and so the thing simply didn't work. And of course, no manual meant, oh dear, what can we do? With sets like that, you really are on your own. That's when the way of doing things with that manual comes to mind. And it's a very good skill to have, by the way. It really is. Because sometimes the manual isn't available. No what else you can do, is there? Because tape recorders and radio, everything else, do the same sort of thing. And particularly with with the electronics, they are in fact fairly simple to do. So right, well at this stage now I've got the thing apart on the bench the right way, and of course I've got the sheet here which covers circuit, basically about the deck and things like that. Now before we dive in and start looking around, stop and think. What do we know? We know that the deck is more or less okay. We know that output is very, very, very small, and we know that on this table at any rate there might not be very much, but you know, we've got things to change anyway. First of all, most of the caps you need to change straight away. Well, first of all, we do the basics, yeah? First thing we do, speaker is linked to earth on this, by the way. So if we do that, and that, we show this on the speaker. We do. So the speaker is alive and doing something. Okay. Whether it's doing enough, I don't know, but it doesn't seem to be jammed. You just need to have a little tear which we can sort out. So speaker's okay. Next thing we do, we think, well, okay. Next thing I would do at that point is think, right, okay, well, let's go from with the power off. Don't forget, go from the power line to deck and see what things are with the thing off and then on. But before we do that, I think it's probably very much worth doing something else here that's equally interesting. The positive here goes to the rail like that, you see. Now if we now do that, one pin up here, we should get something on, because all we're doing is going through that transformer and that transformer secondaries. So if we know, for example, that there's nothing between there and there, as in nothing at all resistance wise, then we've got a fault straight away, whether these cores. If not, then we know that these cores are virtually okay. And also, by the way, maybe get some nice user speakers. So 1, 2, I think it's that one, or is it that one? Is it pin 3? No, it's pin 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So it's that one. Okay, and there's something there. Okay, but no lot in the speaker, I notice. Okay. Right, now transformer secondary is on the circuit here, is it? And also L2, which is used when this valve is used as oscillator on record. So let's have a look at those two components on the circuit and see where they are and what they're doing. Right, so transformer 2 primary is 450 ohms, and the L2 is 10 ohms. So there should be therefore rather about 500 ohms between there and there. The 700 is a bit high, but I think, but I'll live with that for now. Okay. That goes to up here to this pin here, and out of there it goes to the 8-foot transformer. So turn the thing around to the bench slightly so I can have a look what the transformer is, what it should be, what it is, which of course might well be two completely different things. Right, so this here, I noticed there's a capacitor across it as well. That might be shorted. So, and that is one which I will want to take off anyway. So that will do at this stage. All it is a tone correction across the 8-foot transformer. So I think we can dispense with that. Like so. Like so. And now we should get some. We should now get from the coil here. We should now get something from there to one of the two 8-foot transformer pins. We do. Another one. The other one. This does not look good. 600. Well, yeah, but that might be the meter. I don't know, but 600. It's a little bit higher than the 450. No, T2, isn't it? It's a little bit higher than the 500, but for the moment I'll leave it and we'll have this capacitor out of circuit. By taking it off, something like there. Right, okay. So that's got a circuit, and we can now see also what's there. So now it should be 0, 700, well 698, 797, and then it should go here as well, which it does. There, okay. So that's okay. So that's okay. Now, between pin 5 and pin 6, therefore, now if you leave that there, yeah, pin 6 should be R21 plus R4 plus R43. Yeah, R43 is 390 ohms, and R21 is 10k. Okay, so 20k, and we'll have a look at the next pin along, which is this one here, and that seems about right as well. So that is basically about right. Okay. The cathode resistor on this goes to pin 2 to deck, and at pin 2 it's R45 and possibly R44 depending on. So it shouldn't be any more than say 60 ohms, therefore 70 ohms. Okay, so that goes to there, and that therefore we'll there so you can see it. Make sure it's the right pin. Pin 2, okay. Pin 1, pin 2. And 44 ohms, okay, and that's our 43, which is 30, that's about right. So that's about right, and so is. And so is yeah. So all the resistors around that are okay. The next thing we look at with this, I'm afraid, is probably the primary of the 8-put transformer. Now the primary here goes to deck like that, and so one of these goes to deck and the other one goes to speaker. Please go to the speaker. And they appear to do that. Okay, so now we should get something. So that looks to be more or less okay as far as I can tell. Obviously, deck goes to one pin and the other one goes to deck. So fair enough. That I think for now I think that's okay. Now the other thing we look at on this now, we're going any further, is the capacitors that need to be changed. There's look at the circuit here. There's leaf hunt capacitors, because hunt capacitors need to be changed. There's C21. The C21 in the circuit goes to deck somewhere, I think. I'll just have a look and find it. Okay, it's a tone control, yeah. Okay, so there shouldn't be any voltage on that, so I think, no, 321, in not 2321. C21. C21. Okay, well that linked to magic eye, so we usually change that, but not straight away, although we do. C10 goes from the anode of valve 2 to these switches, goes to the grid of valve 1. That's C10. C10 is that one there, so that probably needs to be changed, and a couple of others as well which need to be changed as well. But again, they wouldn't shut it up dead, as it were. By the way, Murphy used master valves on all the equipment. This is because when Murphy were building it in the early 30s, 1932, they started to deal with master valves, which gave them exclusive first-hand use of master valves. They could say about the wrong horse, because Bullard, of course, eventually won, but Murphy ran with master valves right the way through. But Master did make a lot of Mullard types in the end. So in this one, actually, there's a EL95 and there are two ECC83s, and they're all Mullard types. Valve 4, by the way, is the Magic Eye, and the Magic Eye on this is an EM85, so yeah. So anyway, at this point now, we'll switch it on, like that, let it warm up, and that goes to deck, like that, and we look at pin number, I remember this valve, you know, pin number 1 and 7 down here, so it's basically, it's there. It doesn't actually seem to have a problem, that does it? I'll switch it to play. There we are, it's got to play. And now we'll look again and make sure. Okay. Okay, fine. 3 volts there, okay. Now, here there's 4 volts, and the other end of this capacitor should have rather more on, because of course it's the anode of the technically it's a CP. And by the way, I noticed there's a slight crack in the speaker when I do that, so only slight though, but something there anyway, which suggests to me that maybe that capacitor wants changing, and certainly in some cases there's another one today, not on this one, but there is some. So that does need to be changed as well. The deck, by the way, all it needs doing there is brakes fitting, but I'll do that a bit later on. But first of all, let's get these electronics sorted out. So I would expect rather more from there. I would expect rather a lot more from there actually. So. Okay. Then with it now apart on the bench, with the power on, look at this power supply side of it. Okay, MR1. MR1 of course positive goes to valve 3, and valve 3 anode should be, according to this, at something like 295 volts. Does help to do that, right? Okay. 283. Okay. And the next one along, of course. Okay, so coming down here, 211 there, and 300 there. Okay, so 293 there, and there should be 211 there, and 211 there. But I'll check the resistors anyway to make sure they're okay. With the thing off, by the way, first of all, I'll see if it's still got. It doesn't. It doesn't have those on when it's off. Okay, so obviously it's switched somewhere. I don't know where, but it just seems to be switched somewhere. I can't see where on the circuit, but it does appear to be. So 221, 307, okay. No, 297 there. Okay, so there should be a bit more there in my humble opinion. I don't think there's anything else other capacitors that would do this on here. So went it out of circuit, and supposing well, at this point now, actually looking at this, I don't think that there's much else it will be. So let's have a look at R42 and see what's on different sides of that now. Okay, nothing at all, but it doesn't seem to have any I'm going to try and get another speaker on this. I don't know why. I've got a feeling this speaker is not I do think that possibly the speaker on this might be the first one to go. It looked okay on the battery, but you know, sometimes in this trade you get a funny feeling, and I'm going to find another speaker and get back to it with that as soon as I can. I've got a leader in my pocket actually, so I can go into the socket on the speaker socket on the side here, and maybe that will that might even give me more power. I don't know, but I'm not entirely convinced about this speaker. I don't know why. Just sometimes you get this, don't you? You feel as though something is not right, and it's not as lively as it should be. It's a proof point. I'll get another speaker. There we are, I see, and we'll see what this does on this battery. Bit later in it, so I'll put that speaker in place of that one, and we'll see what happens. Ah dear. So I'm looking for another speaker at some point, probably now. So that can go out of the way for now, and we'll deal with the rest of that a little bit later on. But next thing we'll do is put this speaker on here and see if that is the first problem, because it might well be, you know. Speakers, although they do quote in ohms, that's ohms at DC. Now audio is AC, think of it as sound wave, and so what we're looking at is the reactance as well, and so it might be okay at DC but not at AC, so we'll check that as well while we're here. And then of course if it's that, then I'll get another speaker for it and take it from there. But for now, I think another speaker is quite a good idea. You know, today we went to Talk. Those of you who don't know, our phone line here is a Talk one, and I think the gardener's been through the wire outside. Yeah. No, it's not in the house, and so for that reason, it's not. It's Talk. All the service providers thought they Talk call out BT or Openreach as they're known now, and that they come out and fix the fault. I phoned them on Friday, and they did some tests and found yeah, it's outside the house. Fair enough, leave them to it. Yeah. Sunday I get a phone call. No, I get a text message. It's all done by text message, by the way, because you can't speak to anyone these days, can you, on these places? And they said our Openreach engineer has been called out. Okay. Sunday came and went. Monday came and went. Nothing. Our internet is also very slow, by the way, as well. It took me about 3 hours to upload that video about that Japanese telephone radio the other day. Yeah. Yeah. After 6 days, I thought this is not on this. So today, I went to Talk head office in Salford. Yeah. It's at the soapworks, by the way, where they used to make Colgate and soap. So it's like, you know, they used to make it all in Manchester in the days when we had industry to speak of in this town. And talk about being, well, want a better word, sodding off. You know, they did not want to know, and they used COVID as an excuse. And basically they said, we'll call you within 48 hours. Now, calling you probably means I'll get another phone call from somebody abroad. Now I know where the fault is, in the garden. I found it, yeah. The neighbour's off as well, yeah. But we still cannot get talk out. I cannot speak to an engineer. I went down there, I talked to 3 talk staff, and they all said, go away, basically. And the girl on reception for the whole building, which is owned by Talk, who went to other people, said to me on the quiet, get out of Talk. So we're going to do that. So I might be disappearing for a bit. So yeah, Talk, wonderful firm. Wonderful firm. Right, well, a new speaker is installed, and it is slightly better. We can hear that, but not brilliant. So the other speaker, by the way, I'll do something about the corn on that and put it back in. But for now, it's got the test speaker in its place, so that should do. Now, also with this, the switches here meant that with it switch to stop down here, it does in fact go to deck. The after R42, which is at the grid, it goes to deck. So you need to know that it's working like that. I can demonstrate that actually. R42 is this one here on the circuit. It's that one there. I'll see if you see that. That one there. Come on, there we go. Normally watch this, you know. Normally watch this. Right, now R42 is that one there, yeah. And there, of course, it switches it to deck when it's out of use there. So you have to switch to play for all the various things you have to do. So I demonstrate that before I switch on. You see, the meter is currently between that deck, of course. So now, if I go there, it goes straight to deck. Straight to deck. There you go. With the meter. There you go. Straight to deck. Yeah. We'll switch it to play. It doesn't. Okay. Now in that case, R41 and the toe control, and so it should be something like, I don't know, that's 188. Okay, there's a capacitor in there as well, so that's probably about right. Now also R41, that's here, R41. So if that goes to there like that, with the valve off, by the way, there's no way it can go and be anything else. So that goes onto there. Now we see like that. That goes onto there, and that shows the deck. Now from there, R42 should be 4.7K. Let's have a look and see what it is. 5.4. Again, it's within the ballpark. It'll do for now. But even with that in, and the unit switched on. There we go. It's now switched on. Yeah. There's very little from the speaker from this point here. There should be something more than there is, but there's nothing. Also, by the way, with this, capacitor 10 came out because we're about 3 volts on there. And with the circuit, it's leaking something like 80, 82, 81, 83 volts. So that is one leaky capacitor there, so that has to come out. So that's the next thing we've got to do. Now I'm not quite sure why at the moment valve 3 is not doing what it should do, because again, if we switch it back on again, so I take recorder, the anode should be 295 volts. Yeah. and it's again it's within. Okay, now the screen again so that's okay, and the cathode voltage is a little bit high, but not so that valve should work okay with those voltages, but it doesn't appear to be doing. There is no voltage actually on that pin here. Now that that capacitor is out, so hopefully that valve is okay. Hopefully it might have a very low emission. I will get one and check. If it's not the valve, then it's either L2 or T2, which could be interesting. Personally, I would go for T2, or possibly I will short out the socket for the external speaker and see if it works then. But there's something with that valve there. Anyway, going further back, just because we can. Again, I'll put it back into play again. Yeah. Going further back, there should be voltages on pin 6 and 1 of V2. V2, by the way, on the circuit is this one here, so that should be now V2 should have 6 voltages on pin 6 and pin 1, which will be 114 and 147. Okay, so 114 and 147. So no, okay. Into that, and there's not the 884 there. That is again is lower than it should be. The other one is there, 114. Okay, so 147, 148. So probably I would be inclined to suspect something like C8 is putting that down. That's something else. So that's something else we're going to look for. And now valve 1B, if you look at the circuit again here, if it'll stand up for us, like that, valve 1B is in the cascode circuit here, like that, between pin 6 and pin 1, and that should be 95 and 175. So it should be 175 on one pin and that goes out. So only 75 on that pin, that's low. And 93 there and 103 there. Okay, that's again. I am inclined to suspect a lot of these capacitors to be out. But having said that, I do feel very much that first thing we need to look at is the output stage. Now, first thing I'll do is get a valve, and we'll try the valve and see if it's any better. If it is, then things are looking in the right direction. If it's not, then it's not. Pentodes do get warm, by the way, but that one does get very warm. I'll leave it to cool down while I get another valve. So back in a more. Right, well, at this stage in the proceedings now, the ER95 has a round. I'd ordered a new one and put it in. I've also, while I was at it, changed a few capacitors over. They're all on this page of the circuit here. If I can get it to stand up, so there we are. Right, can you see that? Right, now, the ones that I've replaced are capacitor 10, capacitor 8, capacitor 4 and capacitor 1. Now together these are anode capacitors that go, then the capacitors then feed the signal but not the audio to the grid of the next valve. And with them out of the way and replaced, by the way, there are all these TCC types. Got one for you here. There you go. They're all these. Now, I've had trouble with these before. They're like hunts, and they're just as bad. So you know, always treat them with suspicion. There's very little hum on this, virtually none actually, which is surprising. Presently good because it says we're changing the smoothing cap, and but that's the good news. The bad news, or good depending on, is that it plays but very quietly. That's a let it go. As you'll see. And the tone control operates as another volume control. Which means therefore that there are more caps to change on this. But we know that it is working. And that's the one, by the way. And again, it only winds one way, and I had to look at the brakes as well. But the job is coming along fairly well. Also with this circuit, by the way, the electronic side of it, ECC 85 is 8-foot stage, which is there, yeah. Don't have to pencil, but a small one. Mazda, of course, although I put a mod, it doesn't matter as long as it is an L85. But the other two valves are, as I said previously, ECC 83s. Now that is standard 2 stages, but this standard here, this is what's called a cascade amplifier circuit, and this makes this stage a lot more sensitive. So now we have a system where that is very, very sensitive now. The microphone or to the heads, depending on. The heads, by the way, go to deck, and the eraser, again, it's switched in only with the record system. And on record, by the way, the 8-foot pentode becomes oscillator circuit, as is standard tape recorder fashion. It's a standard tape recorder design with still got a problem somewhere. This deck, by the way, one thing I will say that goes against it, and really it's what was at the time a big miss on Garrard's part, is that it only winds forward, not back. So if you're testing it, for example, put a mic in saying 1 2 3 4 5 5 2 3 2 1, or you're you know, you're doing something of that nature, then either wind it back, tape back by hand like that, or turn it over. So it only winds forward, not back. And that, to me, is a bit of a mistake on Garrard's part. But the deck does seem to be okay, apart from what he thinks that are wrong with it. But first of all, I'm going to go back underneath and have a look at some voltages, and also think about tone control. Also, the cap missing from this circuit as well. It's on the diagram, but not in the circuit. It was never put in, so I might well also put that in as well and see what happens. Sometimes even I make mistakes. Yeah, I do. Everyone does, and everybody make mistakes, because mistakes teach the right way to go in the future. With this unit, by the way, I changed all these caps here, but I forgot this one here on the C3 on the cascade circuit of valve 1 A and valve 1B here, which is an ECC83. Now, this cascade circuit is a circuit used for high impedance stages, increased gain as well. So that's really what it's for. Used quite a lot now in amplifier circuits for guitars and things like that. But here, capacitor 3, that's that one there, was not short circuit but getting there, and therefore valve 1A anode, which is there, which is pin 1 by the way, that anode should be at 870 or 80 or 90 volts. It was at 10 volts. So with the new capping, it now works correctly, as it were. So now we should get, it's here, that one. Now we should therefore get a reasonable sound when we start this thing up again, which I'm going to do right now. So I'll just get the camera right and we'll do that. Right, now it's back together, of course, with that capacitor change. Here's the playback now. This is Ken Double. I can't play too much of this because it's copyrighted material, but it's quite a nice song actually, this. Etc, etc, etc. So that is okay now. Now, also, now, once I've got this tape off here, I'll switch it to record and see if there's any life on this indicator down here. If there is, then I'll put the tape on and we'll try counting up to 5 into the microphone and seeing where it comes out. So, now we're going to record. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great, perfect. We now have a good response to the microphone on this meter here. This not a standard magic card. It's the AM80, I think. But you know, it's quite good, this one actually. But they do go, but this one isn't so bad. So I'll live with that for now. So now, of course, we've got to find out if it records or not, which I'll do any second now. So on it goes like that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now, of course, we've wound it back this way because there's no rewind on the tape, which is a bad bit. And now we should hopefully get and it looks very much as though we don't. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, so that's doing nothing. Now, we know therefore that the playback works okay. And we also know that the indicator down here works okay. So again now, we also know that most of the circuit is working because it plays. So now we have to look at the record end of the circuit. Now on these sets, on record, and goes through here. So it could be any one of these switches here, any one of them. So I'll look and I'll check and I'll come back when I've found out the problem, and maybe we can find out then why it's not recording. It should be doing, but at the moment it is not. Right, well this machine is not going to record. Not for the time being anyway. Playing it on a tape is very simple. Head, amplifier, speaker. Dead simple. Now when you record on a tape, things are rather different. This oscillator, amp here, becomes an oscillator stage. And to record successfully on tape, you need a bias on the audio signal. So, for example, due to the non-linear responsive all tape, you need this, and so without it, you will get something, but not very much, or not at all. In this case, not very much. Yeah. Now, when I play back on this tape, the audio is there, distorted but there, and the bias isn't, and there's no bias voltage reaching the erase head. Now the erase head itself is okay. I've checked it. It's okay. I've checked it. But the bias circuit, of course, is this oscillator here. Yeah. Now, the EL95 anode has two transformers in series across it like that. That one, that's the speaker. That's fine. There's no trouble with that at all. Well, this one here is the one for the erase and bias. Yeah. And I've checked the erase then. I've changed that capacitor, that's the important one, by the way. That is switching on record, because with that in place, the amplifier feeds back and becomes oscillator. Yeah, that's all that does. Yeah, and regulated by this trimmer here. That's okay. That's been changed. That's been changed. Everything else is okay. And so therefore, all it can be is either the erase head, which appears to be okay, or the secondary of this coil here. Yeah. Without this coil having a secondary that works okay, there will be no erase. There will be no bias, therefore no erase and no bias. And so really what we need is a replacement coil. Now, on more expensive machines like the Brunel I did a year and a half ago, it's not on here, but I will figure it out for you and talk you through it. The bias circuit is separate. On these cheaper machines, good but a bit cheaper, it's not. And so everything comes off this coil here. This coil here is this coil here on the top. Now, if the secondary of this is open circuit, there will not be any bias whatsoever or erase. That's why. So until I can get one of those coils, which, well, maybe never, it will not erase. All these have been changed. That's for the Magic card. Magic card's fine, by the way. The mics have been changed. We tried it with two microphones. They're okay. Nothing it can be now apart from, if this comes forward, all it can be is that erase head there. I'll just try and hold up there so you can see that erase head, that there, without that coil. All it can be are that or the eraser, and the eraser checks out okay. So therefore, without that coil, this machine is not going to record ever again. It plays quite nicely, but record is very much a no-no. So what I'll do, I'll put this machine back together for now, and I'll also take you through how to remake one of the cartridges up out of ordinary tape, which I was also going to do. So this machine will not be a workable one, but I can go through and teach you all the things you need to know about this deck as well, which is what I'm going to do. Oh, now, as I said, sometimes with this sort of kit, we have to cut our losses, and I'm going to come back to it when I have the bits to repair it, if I get them. Oscillator is not working, and it's either the erase head or the coil board. There were a lot of problems around the 8+ stage short stroke oscillator circuit, so something happened there. I believe it's either the erase head or possibly that coil, but the heads on this are in the block, you see there. This deck was in a lot of ways not Garrard's finest hour, but it does have a play, and with it put together, by the way, I shall of course show you that it does, because I'm that way inclined right now. So, by the way, with these machines, with the tape recorder, first thing you do, if you take it apart, is look at these 4 screws here, in most cases, and they come out first. On this, you don't do that. On this, actually, to take it apart, it's always worth reading the instructions before you dive in, and this is a classic example of that. Yes, I did it here myself. If you look underneath this unit, then you'll find that the bottom plate comes off, and there's 4 screws there, and the whole lot lifts off, and then the speaker is disconnected as well. Anyway.
Human in the human race. I've got no silver and I've got no gold, but I've got happiness in my soul. Happiness to me is an ocean tide, a sunset fading on a mountainside, a big old heaven full of stars above.
So that's Ken Dodd there playing away, and so it does actually record, does actually play. Now, because this machine does not actually record, we have to do this to take it out. I'll do that and put Ken Dodd nicely in his box out of the way. Remember, his box over there. So I'll do that right now and put Ken Dodd in his box out of the way. I'm using this reel actually because this Safeguard is a 4-inch machine. Even the standard 5-inch reels won't fit this, so you know it's a bit limited there as well, but it does play these and fairly well. But I've only got the one which I intend to keep, so I shall put that out of the way in its box here. Original box, of course, original EMI box, of course, with the EMI packing slip in this actually. So these, some of them are collectible, some aren't. This one I don't think is, but it's nice to have, so I'll keep that as a test tape. Yeah. Ken Dodd, hits for now and always. There you are. And put bottom, there's the back as well. Okay, front it, there's the back. Okay, so I'll put that out of the way and get looking at next thing, which is of course how to make one of these cartridges. These cartridges, by the way, they come from Garrard with tape, and this one hasn't. Certain person actually said that this there's like a pair of bibs upside down. Maybe, but yeah. So now what we do is we take this unit apart and put tapes in it. But first thing I'm going to do, however, is put a couple of wheels in it and make sure they don't foul. If they don't, then I shall then be able to go ahead and put some tape in. Now, with these, I will say that I've never done this before, so you and I are learning together here. So if it's a disaster, please don't shout about it on the internet that Steve had a complete disaster, because I know I did, and quite frankly, you know, I don't need that sort of thing. So I'll put the lid back on for now. Like that. And we use the top of it like that. Okay, right, so first of all, if you look at it here, you see you've got the tape guides come out here, and also that there appears to be a brake. There appears to be a brake. You can see that. There you are. Appears to be a brake, and of course these two metal things here which come off like that, and hopefully this will then come apart. Please God, let this come apart. It should do. Should come apart. It does. Okay. So that comes off like that. And that stays in there. And so what I'll do, I'll put these reels in like this, and hopefully they won't. Actually, these ones do actually are very slightly too big for it. So, like I can see on the floor for now, I'll get a couple of smaller wheels and we'll come back to it. Well, these are probably that bit too small, and also they've got Phillips written on them, but this is just to show you how to do this and show myself as well. So let's get on with it, shall we? That's the entry reel, by the way. That's the full one. And so that goes so good. Then she should stop into place like that. And so the tape then goes across the front here, like that. These things do take time, by the way, so I think it goes like that. So that must go through there like that, and through the, and then through the other one, and to the other reel, like so. So that goes back a bit like that, taking care not to twist the cable, to twist the tape, of course. That's it. I'll put that back. I'll take that end off actually, if it'll let me. There we go. So that can go. So now that goes from that reel through here, from that through there, like that, to that one, like so, and it goes to the other reel, up the slip, and then they should go together like that. So that is now them together like that. But it's sometimes it's a good idea, by the way, also with these, to try and shorten and then glue the cable in place as well. But for now I'll just put it like that. Okay, so that goes like that, and you now get this, and that goes on top and goes across it. That goes across it like that, and then of course the thing should go together, and it should operate as a cartridge. Right, and now I've got the reels in the case and the cabinet closed up again, and the metal things holding it shut. So now we should be able to put this back on this machine here. Take the lid off, there we are. And this should now go onto here, like never done this before. You know, so go on there we are. So now that is now on this machine, and it's operating as actually it might be better the other way up actually. This not the easiest thing to get in and out these actually, but you know, we manage, don't we? There we go. So let's drop that one up. Okay, so that goes on like that. There you go. That goes into there like that. Okay, so now it's on there. So switch on the machine now, like that. There's rewind, and here's play. I don't know what's on the tape at all, by the way, but we'll find out soon enough, I'm sure. Might be at the wrong speed actually, because this tape was on a machine to record at 1.78. It is, that's the wrong speed. By the way, record on this machine, it doesn't do anything. Nothing at all. The trouble with it now, of course, is that with the machine on, with the cartridge on, I can't rewind what I've done anyway, so I can't really show you with that. But anyway, this is it. It should be. I know it's got Phillips reels on it. I know that's wrong, but they're the only reels I had to hand. So there you are. So that's a Garrard tape cartridge player working again. This, by the way, came out in 1960. That's 2 or 3 years before the cassette came out. So this was one of many things that were done before the cassette came out. The one thing about the machine that is good is that it would actually work with a cartridge or in or as ordinary reels, which I'd be doing throughout this video, of course. And also, despite however, lack of rewind is a problem with it, and it's what it is. It's of its time. One thing that Garrard did, which was a good idea, was that machine will use out of their cartridge or ordinary tape. Although ordinary tapes, it will use larger reels than there are on these. So that's something else. Anyway, that is right. Now also with this, of course, sometimes you can't get the bits to repair stuff, so you don't have to leave it until something suitable comes up to use it, which is what I've done here. But it's a player, and it plays rather well, so there we go. So that is a Murphy TR1 with a Garrard tape deck, and you can see it does actually does although a bit faster than the machine I got this off. The doesn't actually do what it does, record on magnetic tape. So there you are. I'll come back to this if and when. I promise you when I get the bits for this. Also, like I might have said, I don't know, but with tape recorders of this kind, one thing you don't do is that going with the screwdriver and start taking stuff off, because these 4 screws here, you don't take them off. All the knobs, you go underneath and lift it from the bottom. So there, that's something else. That's something else. The valves in it are all master valves, because Mullard and Murphy didn't get on in the early days, and Murphy signed a deal with Mazda to get their early types before everyone else did, which at the time was good, but later on, of course, Mullard took the lead, and so in 1 or 2 cases Murphy was stuck with the master valves when they really could have used the Mullard. That's where I got sets with funny valve formations. Anyway, it works, I suppose, and it'll work better at some point, but until then, this is Steve Pendlebury, Steve's Venting Workshop, saying goodbye. Let your God go with you, wherever he may be, and I'll back to you with something else very, very soon. Bye bye. Take care, and always keep fixing radios and tape recorders and everything else. It's the way to live. Bye bye.